Overpaying for anything sucks, especially socks, so why pay $45 for a single pair of grip socks when you can spend less than half? Pure Grip Socks Pro feature our best materials for optimal fit, moisture wicking, and performance at a fair price, just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
In my opinion, these are the top 5 new football boots of 2022. In no particular order, of course, because football boots are so much about personal preference, and within this top 5, there's a pretty good variety of different types of fit and feel, which everyone, of course, likes something a little bit different. With all of these boots being readily available, meaning non-limited edition releases, because there were some great ones in that category for 2022, maybe I can make another video specifically for those, but all of these boots you can get right now. Speaking of which, if you are interested in any of them, you can pick them up below their normal retail prices by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the links down below. If you guys enjoy the content, drop a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel already so you don't miss out on my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2022. The New Balance 442 Version 2 Pro is probably not a football boot that you expected to see on this list. It might not even be a football boot that you knew existed, but for $130, making it very affordable in terms of bang for your buck, this is the best value for money option currently on the market. The kangaroo leather through the forefoot and toe box area is really good quality considering the price point. The synthetic leather or synthetic material that you're going to find through the midfoot, depending on the colorway, also works quite well with the central lacing system and traditional standalone tongue. The sole plate and stud pattern is like that you'd expect to find on a $200+ football boot, and the overall weight is incredibly lightweight despite the way that it looks, being lighter than any variant of the Adidas X Speed Portal football boots that retail between $250 and $280 in the speed category. If you're looking to try leather football boots for the first time and you don't want to compromise quality without breaking the bank, the New Balance 442 Version 2 Pro is what I would highly recommend. Not to mention, it's available in regular and wide fit variations, so if you have really wide feet, these would be fantastic for you. The Nike Tiempo Legend 9 Elite sees the Tiempo series trending back towards a more simple design philosophy, unlike the last several generations from this particular series, and honestly, I think it's for the betterment of the overall product. The upper is majority made from really high quality kangaroo leather with the added element of memory foam inserts in the midfoot and forefoot area, giving you a little bit of a dampened sensation, but without taking away from the softness and flexibility of that kangaroo leather material. The central lacing system with the one-piece enclosure fits your feet really well. It is incredibly comfortable. The traditional low-cut construction and soft microfiber lining material in the heel is just super comfortable. The shape of the boot, I think they nailed compared to the last couple generations, and the sole plate and stud pattern makes for a football boot that again is lighter than you'd expect it to be, with that classic Tiempo FG layout that gives you a nice blend of aggressive traction, but also that more traditional freedom to twist and pivot with the conical studs. For $230, it's not necessarily the same value proposition as the New Balance 442, but if you're looking for a modern take on a classic football boot, you really can't go wrong with the Tiempos. The New Balance Furon V7 Pro, their latest entry into the speed category, and arguably their best ever pair of football boots, with this very extreme lacing system being pushed all the way to the outside of the boot, paired up with a hypo knit upper and an internal elasticated knit sock enclosure, creating a fit and feel unlike any other boot that's currently available. You throw these on and the boots wrap your feet incredibly well. Because the laces are pushed so far to the outside, it almost has the effect of a pair of laceless boots in terms of feel, but the lockdown of something that does of course have laces because you don't lose out on adjustability. The touch is incredibly thin, giving you that premium barefoot sensation. The boots are remarkably comfortable, just like other New Balance boots as well. They're available in regular as well as wide fit variations. So if you like something from the speed category but find that your feet are typically too wide, the wide fit version of this boot should suit you quite well. And then the FG stud pattern and sole plate is as good as just about anything from a traction and aggressiveness standpoint. Not to mention that they are currently the lightest speed boots on the market when compared to all of their competition from Nike, Adidas, and Puma, and coming in at a price tag of $225. They're just a really solid value proposition competition compared to the more popular options out there. If there were ever a time to try a pair of New Balance football boots, it would be now. The made in Japan Mizuno Morelia Neo 3. This is a football boot that represents refinement at its finest, in that the original Morelia Neo that launched all the way back in 2010, 12 years later, still looks relatively the same, but with small modifications, some that you can see, some that you can't, that make for a product that just feels incredible. And granted, I think the Neo 3 Beta variant is also really good. However, the non-beta variation sticks with that standalone tongue and central lacing system that I think ultimately makes for a little bit of a better fit and a more comfortable feel through the midfoot. Not to mention it swaps out the textile material for this really thin synthetic leather microfiber that really does a good job of imitating the softness of the kangaroo leather that you get through the forefoot and toe box area, that, as we've come to expect from any made in Japan Mizuno product, is as good as it gets. When you also consider the fact that these are made in Japan and just have the best of the best as far as build quality is concerned, the overall package is incredibly lightweight, but also because of how well they're made, they are built to last. And then with this sole plate and stud pattern, it's kind of unique in that you do get the conical studs, but still really aggressive traction, but also that freedom to twist and pivot. They're expensive at $290, but they are some of the most comfortable, lightweight football boots that money can buy. Everything about these is near perfection, and in my opinion, they're just really hard to beat. The Nike Zoom Mercurial Superfly 9 Elite, along with the Vapor 15 variation, which is just low cut and $25 less expensive. The Superfly model in particular, I think, looks a little bit better, but again, it's totally a matter of whether or not you want the collar or prefer the look of a low cut design. Nonetheless, the new Vaporposit Plus upper doesn't feel that different from last year, but is arguably that little bit softer against your foot, which I would argue the comfort overall has improved. The shape is a little bit wider this time around, which I think is actually going to suit a lot more people quite well, and the boots still have that signature Mercurial feel, fit, and lockdown, giving you that really responsive sensation when the laces are tied tight. Super comfortable for a pair of Mercurials, but realistically, the star of the show here is the incorporation of the 3/4 length Zoom unit directly underneath your feet that gives you this running shoe-like cushion, but the response that you expect from a pair of Mercurials. It's touted as kind of a speed element to make you faster, but I would definitely view it as more of a comfort element that doesn't detract from the responsiveness of the boot. This is a technology that I think is truly a game changer. It's one of the most interesting pieces of tech to be featured on a pair of football boots within the last 20 years, and it's something that if I could put it in every pair of football boots that I ever wore, I would. I really think it's a game changer in the industry. Expect to see a lot more of it from Nike, and they pair that up with new sole plate tooling and an FG stud pattern that is pretty much as aggressive as all the Mercurial stud patterns that have come before it. Not to mention the weight has gone down from the previous generation despite all of this new technology. And again, the fit, feel, and experience from the Air Zoom tech in this year's Mercurial is pretty much unlike anything else that has ever existed. And I just have a hard time believing that it's not going to impress a lot of people. If you're looking for the best of the best in terms of high-tech football boots, this is it.